3. This is lesson number 3 for week 2. Before you start this lesson, you need to have watched lesson number 2 and you need to have completed the early life. You need to have done an interview with someone you live with to have completed your early life mind map. You also need to have a pencil and a piece of paper and always, as always, a teddy bear or somebody with you that you can talk to during the lesson. So in our last lesson, we discussed all the different pieces of information that you need to include in a biography. And to do that, we looked at our text map and we thought about what information our text map includes. I asked you to get your mind map on the early life section of a biography and interview someone you live with to answer these questions to find out this information about their early life so that you can write a biography about them. We're just going to look at the first section of a biography though. So I interviewed my friend and she gave me all of these answers. So I found out that she was born on the 30th of January 1990. I found out where she was born. I found out what life was like when she was born, who she lived with, how she described herself, something about school, and a major event that happened when she was young. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into writing. For now, I just want you to watch what I'm doing and join in when I ask you to have a think about something, and at the end of this lesson you're going to write up your own biography. So I looked at my text map and I noticed that there is a heading and a subheading. So I've written a heading and a subheading for the person that I interviewed. The first sentence of our text map talks about when and where Rosa Parks was born. I need to use the information I have on my mind map to write a different sentence for the person I interviewed. So instead of saying Rosa Parks was born, I have written Anya Parker, who is the person I'm writing my biography about. Anya Parker was born on the 30th of January 1990 in Manchester, England, as that's the information I had in my mind map. The next part of our text map talks about what life was like at that time. It says, at this time, segregation was the law in many parts of America. When I interviewed Anya Parker, she said that at the time she was born, iPads didn't exist. Now I want to magpie the first bit of the sentence in our text map, at that time. It is a fantastic example of a fronted adverbial. How do I need to punctuate a fronted adverbial? Pause this video and tell your partner. Yes, I need to add a comma after a fronted adverbial. So I'm going to write at that time, comma, and I'm going to add the information that the person I interviewed told me, that iPads did not exist. And here I finished my sentence by adding the information that was specific to the person I interviewed. If you have a look at my writing, all of the words that I've underlined in green are the words that I have changed from the text map. And that is where you will be adding your own information, which will be different to mine. Our text map adds another sentence explaining what life was like at the time, and if you have more information about what life was like when the person you interviewed was born, please add some more sentences here. The next part of the text map talks about who Rosa Parks lived with, and it uses something special that we learned about a couple of lessons ago to describe her. What does it use to describe her? The text map uses a relative clause to describe what Rosa Parks was like as a child. Parks, who was studious That is a relative clause. I hope you spotted it from our learning in lesson 1 this week. So if I look at my mind map, the person I interviewed described herself as mischievous. So I'm going to replace the word studious with mischievous. She also said she lived with her mother and sister. So when I write up my own sentences, I'm going to start with my person's name. Now, it's more formal to use their surname instead of their first name. So I'm going to use the word Parker. Then I'm going to add a relative clause to explain what Anya Parker was like when she was a child, and notice that I have used commas to punctuate my relative clause. Then I've said who she lived with. The next few sentences in our text map talk about specific things that happened to Rosa Parks. These things probably didn't happen to the person that you interviewed, so we can't use the sentence in our own biography. However, the sentence is a complex sentence, and I would like us here to try to use our own complex sentence. Lesson 1 this week looked at complex sentences. By using a conjunction to join together two clauses, we can make our sentence complex. Here is a list of the conjunctions that we use for coordinating clauses and adding subordinating clauses. In my mind map, the information I have about school was that the person I interviewed enjoyed school. So I need to think of a sentence that can include the fact that she enjoyed school, but use one of these conjunctions to turn the sentence into a complex sentence. Pause this video and see what you can come up with. I hope you had a go coming up with your own complex sentence there. I decided to use the conjunction as to add a subordinating clause. So my sentence is, she enjoyed school as she loved learning new things. In this sentence, as has a similar meaning to because. And the last thing we need to add in this first part of our biography is if any events happened in our person's life when they were young. When I interviewed my friend, she said that she moved to Birmingham at age 11. In our text map, our last sentence starts with the phrase, when she was 19. Now, I want to magpie that phrase in my own biography, but this event didn't happen when my friend was 19, it happened when she was 11. So I've written, when she was 11. Why have I put a comma on the end there? Pause this video and talk to your partner. Yes, so I needed to put a comma there because when she was 11 is a fronted adverbial. It is telling us when something happened. So, when she was 11, she moved to Birmingham. Now, I don't want to end the sentence there. I want to make this a complex sentence. So have another look at our list of conjunctions. What conjunction could I add here to add some more information to my sentence? When she was 11, she moved to Birmingham. Pause this video so that you can make up your own sentence. Okay, I hope you came up with something there. There are lots of different things we could have said, and I decided to use the conjunction because. When she was 11, she moved to Birmingham because her mother got a new job. And now we've written up the whole of the first section of a biography. Anya Parker, early life. Anya Parker was born on the 30th of January 1990 in Manchester, England. At that time, iPads didn't exist. Parker, who was a mischievous child, lived with her mother and sister. She enjoyed school as she loved learning new things. When she was 11, she moved to Birmingham because her mother got a new job. Now, some of these words are underlined in green. Those are the words that will be different in your own biography. Some of these words are highlighted or circled in red. What have I circled in red? Pause this video and talk to your partner. So I have circled in red fronted adverbials, conjunctions, and the relative clause. And that's because I would like you in those places to include fronted adverbials, conjunctions, and a relative clause, okay? Now, reading through it just now, I realised that I have repeated the same pronoun again and again. On the second page where it starts, she enjoyed school, listen to this. She enjoyed school as she loved learning new things. When she was 11, she moved to Birmingham. I've said she so many times, so I'm going to change one of those to the name, Anya Parker. Now, what I want you to do for your activity after the end of this lesson is to write out the first section of the biography for the person you interviewed. Use the same method I used and make sure you include fronted adverbials, a relative clause, and complex sentences. If you know more about the person you interviewed, such as something that happened in their life, you can extend the biography and add a second section and a final section. Once you've finished, make sure an adult in your house takes a photograph of your work and uploads it onto Tapestry so your teacher can see what you've been doing.